So welcome everyone. Welcome back to Marketing Mondays. This is episode 4, Special Events Tourism. So we do want to welcome you if you're new here, but we're really excited to see some familiar faces back with us as well. And so what our goal is, again, if you're new here for this series, is that we want to give you some small efforts for a big impact. We know that you're really busy, so we're going to try to keep this brief. We try to keep it to 30 minutes. And just try to give you some super effective information and tips for creating marketing strategies, to give you some ideas for small efforts you can use in the coming weeks and months that are going to show you a big impact on your marketing growth overall. All right, and so my name is Kara, and I'll be your host today. And my co-host, who most of you know, is PJ. And so if you're new here, we both welcome you. We really look forward to getting to know you. And we are going to share our direct contacts in the chat. PJ will share our emails as well, so be on the lookout for those. All right, and I like to just kind of start off with just kind of a baseline, basic definition of what we're talking about, so we have a good idea moving into the webinar, the presentation. So let's just take a quick look at what special events tourism is real quick, and in relation to marketing as well. So special events tourism refers to the travel and tourism that's associated with unique planned occasions or gatherings such as festivals, conferences, sporting events. These might attract visitors to a specific destination for a limited time. And these events are often characterized as well by their distinctiveness, or their temporary nature, drawing tourists who are really seeking that novel experience or cultural enrichment. And special events tourism can also significantly impact local economies by helping to stimulate businesses, and creating job opportunities and enhancing the overall destination's appeal. So now that we have a good baseline, a good foundation of special events tourism, let's just take a brief overview, a quick look at what we'll talk about today in our webinar. So we're going to start off with looking at some of the strengths of rural North Carolina communities for successful special events tourism. We'll delve into some multifaceted approaches that really leverage the unique attributes of your areas. We'll also look at and really celebrate the wealth of local resources and the charm that's embedded within these niche themes that define the rural identities. We'll take a look at, we've talked about this a few times before, but we're going to take a deeper look at compelling storytelling, as well as some grassroots marketing techniques, and how these can really help in our special events and tap into the authenticity and heritage of the areas. Another pivotal strength in special events tourism, it really lies in community engagement. So we'll take a look at how volunteers and ambassadors can really work to become the embodiment or the spirit of your event itself. We will observe some ways in which to grab it like that low-hanging fruit and really embrace low-cost and sustainable special event strategies. And then furthermore, we will look at embracing the power of digital marketing. And then lastly, we'll take a quick look at some practical solutions for overcoming challenges and obstacles in special events, tourism planning and marketing. At the end, I'll share with you a quick checklist for next steps. And then we'll get together at the end as well for a quick Q&A and discussion. So again, as Tessa mentioned, if you have any questions or comments throughout, we would love to hear them. If you'll put them in the chat, and then we'll get together at the end to talk about them. All right, so venturing into our diverse regions of our rural communities in North Carolina, there's so many different picturesque environments that really offer visitors this nice respite from the busyness of, everyday life, and each region carries its own unique attributes, which contribute to the overall rich tapestry of the state. And so it's really about understanding what sets your area apart, and then really embracing those elements that make our communities different and make them unique. And so to kind of highlight this concept, I'm going to talk about just a few successful examples of special events that have unfolded in various regions of rural North Carolina that really prove that this combination of drawing on your unique local attributes and then combining that with strategic event planning can create these experiences that deeply resonate with your locals and your visitors alike. So one of the first examples that I wanted to touch on was Merle Fest in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And so if you're not familiar with Merle Fest, it's this annual music festival in Wilkesboro. It really stands out for its celebration of Americana, bluegrass, folk music, and the uniqueness of this festival lies in this diverse lineup. They're drawing in renowned artists and really fostering this sense of community. The festival is also combining the region's already musical excellence with this family-friendly atmosphere. So it's creating this all-inclusive experience for attendees. But what's great about Merle Fest is Wilkesboro is really utilizing what they already have. They're utilizing this low-hanging fruit and this natural landscape. They're really capitalizing on the natural beauty of their community because Wilkesboro is nestled in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So these scenic surroundings serve as this ideal natural backdrop for outdoor stages. They're creating this immersive experience, and they're also leveraging this rich musical heritage and mutual history that they already have. And so another really good example of this is also out of Brevard, North Carolina. So Brevard is unique because they're having this music summer festival, but they are drawing on, again, resources that they already have. There's a Music Center Institute in the region, so they're drawing on talented musicians, and they're utilizing students and faculty and artists from the center to make this festival successful. And so again, they're drawing on that low-hanging fruit and the natural landscape because Brevard has lush landscapes that's providing this natural amphitheater for open-air performances. And then the festival is tapping into their already rich musical history as well. Another random one, which is really niche, and it's something that we'll talk about some niche topics and some niche events moving further into this presentation, is Mule Days in Benson, North Carolina. So I thought this one was really unique because they're really kind of reaching and creating this narrative and this story with what they have to offer, which if Benson is small, so they're really offering this one-of-a-kind special event, but it's celebrating the heritage of Southern agriculture in their area, and they're celebrating the heritage of mules. And so the uniqueness of this event lies because they're blending this entertainment and competition and educational activities. They're attracting a diverse audience from all over, but they're working to preserve these cultural traditions while offering this entertaining experience. And so again, they're really leveraging what they already have. Benson has this small town rural charm, these agricultural roots that are really integral to Mule Days. And they're really just leveraging their agricultural heritage and by showcasing the importance of mules plowing a field. So it's just kind of goes to show that you can really draw on what you have and draw on these unique attributes of your region to really capitalize on these special events. So now that we've looked at a couple of, or talked about a few successful special events in North Carolina, let's touch a little bit more on utilizing these limited and local resources and building these niche themes. So first and foremost, the emphasis here, it really lies in harnessing your region's limited yet distinctive local resources. So we have to really recognize the value in showcasing the unique characteristics that define our regions and really turning obstacles into opportunities for innovation and for authenticity as well. And so embracing and highlighting these local resources, it not only contributes to the authenticity of your special events, but it also serves as a testament to the pride that you take, in your overall regional identity and branding. And so there's different opportunities that you can really discover and draw on agriculture, for example, where you can draw on, partnerships with local farms, showcase the land and skills of the farmers. Also drawing on crafters in the community. Crafts and crafters are often passed down through generations. So attendees love to see these glimpses of artistic traditions that are really rooted in your area. By thoughtfully incorporating and promoting a lot of these local treasures, we're not only creating this unique event experience, but also fostering this strong sense of local appreciation for the cultural richness of the area. And so another thing to keep in mind is that community partnerships are key in our strategy. So special events require so much collaboration of local stakeholders, businesses, community members. And so by working to really cultivate these partnerships and these relationships, we're not just enhancing the event experience, but also contributing to the overall cohesion of the community and its brand. And so, in crafting distinctive special events in rural North Carolina, we can really look at also drawing on niche themes to captivate our audience. And so, this helps to really amplify the unique charm of the region, kind of like Mule Days in Benson. We're really looking at some niche themes that lead to a targeted audience. And so by aligning with these really targeted themes, we're not just creating a more meaningful and engaging experience for attendees, but it's also helping to establish a clear identity as well for our events. All right, so drawing on local resources and niche themes, let's just briefly look at the transformative power that we talk about in storytelling in shaping these great events. So we talk about storytelling a lot, but it's really important because it's really the heart of our strategy is this art of weaving narratives that really resonate with our community and visitors. And so by leveraging local stories and traditions, we're not just celebrating our heritage, but we're also creating this really profound connection with our target audience. So, in terms of reaching our audience, we can also really champion grassroots marketing strategies. So, this is where word of mouth, community driven initiatives, and things like that really come into play. These strategies not just do they help keep costs in check, but they also work towards these really high impact engagement methods that resonate with our community. And grassroots marketing techniques are particularly good for special events tourism and because they really leverage community involvement and local networking. And so by engaging residents and local businesses in your promotional activities, such as the word of mouth marketing, or social media campaigns, grassroots efforts can really effectively raise awareness and help generate interest in your special event. And then finally, the role of local ambassadors and volunteers, it really can't be overstated here because they're really the heart of your event. They really embody the spirit of your community. And so by working to really put a focus on them and their dedication, it ensures that all of this really detailed and rich storytelling that you created, it's not just going to remain on paper, but it's going to come to life because you are taking that story and you're putting it in the hands of these volunteers and ambassadors who really cherish your community and they cherish your local narratives. And so together, through the power of storytelling, we're poised to create these special events that not just entertain, but they leave a memorable mark and keep tourists and visitors coming back as well. All right, and so speaking of community participation, let's also take a look at the importance of involving our local community and businesses in the planning process. And so securing the local businesses buy-in, it's not just really a goal, it's truly a fundamental principle that drives the success of our events. So by working to demonstrate how these events directly benefit local businesses and residents, we're fostering this sense of shared ownership and pride throughout the community and throughout the entire planning process. And so in crafting these events, or building off current events that really resonate with the local community's values and traditions, we're sharing our story. So it goes more beyond just a celebration, you're creating this really immersive experience and also this collective identity for the community. And the importance of this is that it creates this really strategic alignment. You're creating this alignment between what matters most to your residents, what matters most to your local business and your community, to creating this event with tourists that's going to further contribute to your area overall. So in addition to involving our local communities and businesses, you can also extend this commitment to actively engaging local artists, local groups, local schools, just like Brevard did. They engaged their local school in this planning and execution of special events. And so this participation, it not only infuses your events with homegrown talent, but it also helps to just nurture that sense of community, that pride and that ownership, and get your volunteers and your ambassadors out there to really elevate the quality of your event. All right, so we're going to look just a little bit more at low-cost, high-impact events, and the art of creating those, taking advantage of what we like to call that low-hanging fruit that we discussed a minute ago in the success stories from North Carolina. So this approach really involves identifying those readily available opportunities that you have that are requiring a minimal investment, but that are going to yield significant results. So it is about being resourceful and really maximizing the impact of every effort that you're making. And so one strategic avenue is to create events that align with regional or statewide efforts. And so by really tapping into these existing initiatives, we're not only benefiting from shared resources and visibility, but also contributing to this broader collective impact. And this synergy can help us, really leverage the success of larger movements while keeping our regional costs at a minimum. Another idea is the expansion of current successful events that you already have. So building upon things that already works, this really allows us to capitalize on those established audiences. We can work to fine-tune our offerings, and really optimize our resources for that maximum impact. It's really a practical approach, and it allows us to grow and enhance our current events without completely starting from scratch. And then lastly, again, the power of partnerships, it can't be overstated here, because collaborating with local businesses, collaborating with local organizations and stakeholders, it allows us to pool resources and share costs, and to ultimately create a more substantial impact than we could ever achieve individually. And so by working together, we're really unlocking these synergies that we've talked about and really elevating the overall success of our events. All right, and so it's also important when planning to take a look at eco-friendly practices in marketing and event execution. As sustainability and sustainable events, they're really growing, they're really important for visitors, they're really important for your local economy. And so one of the first key principles in adopting these eco-friendly practices in our marketing endeavors is to start utilizing and leveraging digital platforms. This helps to minimize paper usage, prioritizing, the environmentally conscious promotional materials, and really aim to reduce our ecological footprint. And we'll move on to this in a second, but the benefits of switching to digital platforms as well. And then community education and participation are really important components of this eco-friendly strategy, because we have to foster a collective understanding with everyone of the importance of the sustainability efforts. And then by involving our community in this journey towards these eco-conscious practices, we're not only raising awareness, but hoping to inspire, this lasting change as we move through special events in the future. And then we can also look at this in sourcing when planning special events, starting to make commitments to local and sustainable practices, whether it's selecting vendors or choosing materials. We start to prioritize options that really minimize our environmental impact and support our local economy. And so this approach, it not only aligns with our values, but it also contributes to the broader sustainability goals of the community, the regions, and the state. And then lastly, our visions can work to extend towards this ideation of regenerative events as well. So beyond minimizing harm, we're aiming to organize events that actually actively contribute to the well-being of our environment. So through things, like tree planting initiatives, waste reduction efforts, and other regenerative practices, we're striving to leave this positive impact on our natural surroundings in our regions, that make our communities unique and make them beautiful and make them special. And so this can also lead you to the consideration of creating a new event in general, a new regenerative sustainability event in the area as a niche event particular to your region that everybody can get involved in. All right, so drawing on this sustainability idea and kind of shifting more towards digital platforms, we can kind of touch on again the role of digital marketing in special events. It's really at the forefront. It's such a powerful tool for promotion. This means that we're really starting to embrace online platforms. We're aiming to really leverage the reach and accessibility to effectively connect with our audience and generate excitement for these special events. So if you're just getting started in digital marketing, this approach really involves adopting simplified digital strategies. We can start by choosing our best platforms. And again, we will have some more courses coming up in Marketing Mondays on social media management, social media strategies, analytics, and more to help you get started on this digital marketing. We're also utilizing the vast networks of social platforms. So social media is really big. Obviously, it's helping to create a buzz around our events, fostering this community of excited attendees. Those are your ambassadors. And so through this interactive content, these consistent event updates, engaging discussions, we're really utilizing digital marketing to create this vibrant online presence that really mirrors the energy that we want at our special events. It's also a really good idea to create an individual, user-friendly, dedicated event website for your special event. This serves as a really easily accessible central hub for information, registration, updates, and more. So it not only enhances your online visibility, it's just a comprehensive resource for everyone involved. Furthermore, leveraging influencers, bloggers, community leaders with strong digital platforms, enthusiastic participants, all of these are great. It really connects a network of advocates who want to champion your special event. And then finally, I do want to emphasize the importance of developing some sort of successful way to measure your efforts. And so, like I said, we'll talk about this more in our analytics series coming up. But through analytics, feedback, data-driven insights, we're really working to ensure that our digital marketing efforts are impactful. We can also create them to be adaptable and responsive to the evolving needs of our audience. We are going to talk just a little bit about overcoming challenges, just briefly, and we can talk about this a little bit more in our Q&A. But we do understand, speaking of social media in particular, that there's many challenges associated with special events tourism marketing. And so it's really critical that we work to manage our time and efforts to ensure the success of our special events while avoiding pitfalls or burnout as well. And strategies can really begin with the awareness of time management overall. And so a proactive approach that involves careful planning, thoughtful resource allocation to prevent exhaustion, maintain this sustained momentum throughout the full event planning process, even by just writing down and anticipating challenges and kind of understanding our own responses, it really equips us to navigate hurdles more effectively. And then in the realm of storytelling hurdles, because sometimes it can be difficult to create narratives in situations where the narrative itself may not seem so apparent. We can, adopt kind of creative storytelling methods. And again, get those stories into the hands of your volunteers, of your ambassadors to really share those stories that resonate with everyone. And then also to sustain the financial health of our events. Sometimes we do have to explore innovative funding ideas. This includes, building off of events that we already know are successful, doing things we know work, seeking alternative revenue streams, really leveraging and tapping into those partnerships, and working on some creative fundraising methods as well. And so by diversifying our funding sources, this can also help mitigate the financial stress of the event. Okay, and so now we have just for you an extra resource for you. If you scan this QR code, it'll take you to a Google form. It's just a quick getting started checklist, and this is really just meant to be a helpful guide to you, something you can print off and do during the week. It's a brainstorming tool to ask you some questions to get you started, to look at what you have going and where you want to move forward. And then again, PJ and I are available to talk with you about this. So if you want to email us or see us in the chat and schedule, maybe a 15-minute, 20-minute call with us that we can go over this checklist with you. We would love to do that as well. All right, so as we go today, we have a few key takeaways for you to take with you moving into the week. So firstly, again, just try to keep our mantra, our Marketing Mondays mantra in mind, small efforts for a big impact. It really encapsulates our belief that even these small, modest initiatives that you can make, when strategically executed, they can create a substantial and lasting influence on your community. We also emphasize the significance of utilizing the strengths and the uniqueness of your various region by really celebrating our local assets and our local resources, whether that be cultural, historical, or natural. We're not just distinguishing our events, but we're fostering that deeper connection within our community. Again, strategic partnerships are a critical element of special events planning. Recognizing that collaboration is a key to success is a really good place to get started. Resourceful event planning, it's very important in your approach. So by really maximizing and drawing on those limited resources that we have, adopting innovative solutions, innovative storytelling, we work to ensure that our events are not only cost effective, but they're meaningful and sustainable in the long run. Also, keep in mind, digital marketing serves as a very powerful tool for impact in our strategy. So don't discount digital marketing. And then finally, we acknowledge the importance of overcoming challenges just with basic practical solutions. So by writing things down, by anticipating, by addressing obstacles with a resourceful mindset, we really ensure the longevity of our events and the continuous growth of our community engagement initiatives. All right, and so that concludes our presentation today. So again, if you have any comments or questions, we would love to go over those with you now, and PJ will help me with our Q&A session.